the best poker players you'll ever see. But who will be champion of this Premier League tonight? Hootie meets the Devilfish. We know 2-ton Phil Hellmuth is sharpening his claws, but is the Devilfish's bark worse than his bite? Two of the greatest poker players of all time from either side of the pond. This is a classic rivalry.
What do I think of Phil Hellmuth? I think if he was made out of chocolate, he would have ed himself by now because he loves himself.
Things really heated up in match 3 when Phil Hellmuth cracked the Devilfish's aces.
Wow, you gave me a speech with aces.
I got you to put all your money in.
What am I going to do with nines? What are you, some kind of
You're
genius?
probably going to catch a 9. That's what you're going to do if you're shaking already.
If you're listening, baby, I'm going home tomorrow. You can finish the show yourself. I don't give a flying fuck.
You were a little bit rude there.
Bullshit.
Next time, it was Devilfish bluffing to come out on top.
You get tangled up with me one more time, and we're at war.
Who will win the rubber match as this clash reaches epic proportions? Points don't matter, money out the window, it's personal.
I've got him wound up already when I play the hand. If you carry on like this, they're going to make you play in a straitjacket. You know that, don't you? You're going to have to push your chips in with that big Eddy yours.
Devilfish versus Hellmuth, the best in the UK versus the best in the world. Round 3, baby. It's going to be crazy.
Remember, in this league format, it's points awarded based on where the players finish in each fixture of the 12-match season. After the 12-game season, it depends. Will you go forward or go home? And right now, Hellmuth and Eddy Scharf in very good form. For Andy Black and Ian Frazer, tonight's about putting points on the board. But what about Tony G and the Devilfish? They're in the relegation zone, and is tonight do or die? Go! The betting starts before the cards are even dealt.
I don't want it to be close.
Hellmuth and Tony G around the table.
He didn't finish.
What? Oh, yeah. Hellmuth is disqualified. Disqualified. Pay up. You went over this bit. You're disqualified.
He got disqualified.
Disqualified. You went up on the red bit.
I think the both should be at home or playing in a sandpit somewhere. I mean, does the mother know they're out?
We'll talk later.
So I'm the judge.
So you're ruling it's a draw?
I'm ruling you're both disqualified, and if you want, you can run again.
How you like that, Fish?
In my opinion, if he's gone the other way around, bumped into you and knocked you onto this bit, how can you be disqualified?
No kidding.
Sorry, Tony, but I got to tell you. I got to say it as I say it.
You owe me 1,000, Tony. If you don't pay, that's all right. But I'm going to hold it against you.
This heat has everything set up for it. And Roland, obviously, everybody looking at the match between the Devilfish and Phil Hellmuth, who have been going at it like gangbusters. Hellmuth knocked out first the last time he played.
Hellmuth started off winning the first 3 that he played. That's very impressive. And now he's come back with 0 points, and him and the Fish were at each other's throats the whole time. This is going to be bombastic tonight.
I was tipping this guy $40 for setting the limo up. And the limo wasn't there, so I said, let me wait till it gets here. I didn't want to tip him and have him walk away.
Everyone's looking forward to this one. 3 of the loudest and most respected players in the game at the table. Raised to 6,000 by Hellmuth. Scharf is going to need earplugs before this one's over. Look at that. Hellmuth on his right, Tony G on his left.
Oh.
Can't help it, huh, Tony?
No.
Tony G's cold. We're going to see a flop.
It's too much value to resist.
Plus, I mean, you can always bluff me like Fish did every pot, right?
How come I've gone from fishy to fish? I mean, fishy was quite friendly.
Check.
They've both missed. Will Hellmuth fire?
Check.
I don't think I have any of that. I better just check.
Check.
Give him a free card.
He's in a great mood
Give me a
today.
free card. Because I have my usual nothing over here.
You're both getting a free card.
7.
It's starting to set up like yesterday. I kept picking up the ace kings and ace queens. And he probably bluffed me. He might have like the 10 jack.
I guarantee we showed him the jack. What do you think?
You see, Tony G did nothing wrong there, but I have to criticise Hellmuth's play. He didn't bet the flop, and he missed a chance. He was doing that a lot last week.
everybody's going to bust themselves at the 3,000-6,000 levels. I'll just sit here and only play premium hands. How hard is that?
You can see Phil has a lot of confidence from the fact that he's 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Pass.
But Roland,
Pass.
if Phil does go out first again, he'll start to look much more human in this table, won't he? I mean,
He'd also lose the momentum, and it's possible that the other players will gain confidence. He's also got to remember that the format of this competition means that points gained in the league equal chips in the final.
yeah, he needs to work on that. And the fish, calling on the big blind, has hit a massive flop.
Check. 4.
Is this flop so big he doesn't want to raise?
You hit the flop that big, or do you miss it on?
I think it's big. It's big enough for him that he can take a free card, especially with Tony G.
Call.
It's a bit dicey now, isn't it?
It's a bad card for Dave Elliott, but he's still going to be pretty confident he has the best hand.
Check.
Tony G's liable to fire twice,
Check.
but wisely decides to check behind him. A king would be a hammer blow for Elliott.
There's another queen ball.
What kind of bet is that?
7.
That's a defensive bet. Now, if Tony G had any part of the flop, Dave isn't winning. He doesn't know that Tony only has a 10 jack. What's going through Tony's mind right now is, can I get Dave off this hand?
If you call me, it'll probably be a split pot.
If he's going to call, he really should raise, shouldn't he?
Well, there's a chance that the board is good. 2 pairs with the ace kicker. So he can call. Tony G is really convincing himself in his head to call here. He loves to call, Tony G.
They play these hands so crafty, Roland, everyone in this field, that it gets to a point where a guy is either bluffing or he's got the nuts.
Split pot?
It does. Sometimes it looks like if they don't have the great hand that they're representing, they really are going to have nothing, and a queen high can be good. Here, Tony's calling for half, if he's calling. In Australia, to win is good, but to not be bluffed is better, it seems.
I mean, hasn't Tony taken so long now that he really can't raise?
He definitely can't raise after this delay, but he can call.
Oh.
That's what he's done.
What about flop for my hand?
Tiger.
What about
You
flop?
see, in
not
Australia,
flush draw
it's
top?
one thing winning money in poker, but not to be
Don't mess
bluffed is the
around.
key.
Don't mess around
Tony
with
G
the boys.
is a calling station.
Pride cometh before money.
By the way, I had looked at my hand.
Tony G is a
Yeah.
real calling station. He didn't come out today to be bluffed. He never comes out to be bluffed. This is a man who does not like to pass hands. And he's just showed that by calling with the board.
I want to beat people, especially if they're big names. I'm ready to take those guys on and to call them down, to make the brilliant play against them. So I'm not afraid. And I love it. I love the game. It's so exciting. Being part of this Premier League is just fun. Despite being wherever on the ladder, you enjoy every day because it's a great concept, and sincerely I hope it's the future of poker for professional players. I think this is the nuts.
This matchup between Devilfish and Phil Hellmuth, the only thing they like to talk about as much as themselves is each other.
His ego is hurt now because I did him last match. I sawed him up like a kipper last match, you know. And his ego is really hurting now because he knows that he got very lucky to beat me the match before when he beat my aces and he beat me with a 5-7 and lots of rubbish, you know. So he didn't prove anything that time. All he proved was that he was very lucky. Then the next time I've run all over him at poker. So now his ego's in bad state. So today, you know, he's got to prove a point.
Last time, Devilfish bluffed me 4 straight pots. The time before that, I was making all kinds of big bluffs on him that were working. So one day I kind of ran him over, one day he kind of ran me over. I didn't know he was capable of playing so crazy against me after the flop. Now, buckle up, baby, because we're going to war.
Yours was a brilliant move with a 5-7, buddy.
I admit I played bad. I mean, you're going to keep bringing up the same thing? I admit it. You don't. Everybody watching knows you was a terrible stack off with the ace queen.
I just said
they're going to go back and they're going to look at the TiVo. They're going to say, "What was the fish thinking?"
I just said
and
that.
you defend it to the lights.
That it's only because it was
You
against
defend
Tony
it to the
G.
sun. You're shouting at the sun, but you're wrong. And if you keep looking up at the sun, shouting the wrongness, your eyes are going to start
if you
hurting.
carry on like this, they're going to make you play in a straight check. You won't be able to get your chips.
Your eyes are going to start hurting.
You're going to have to push your chips in with that big Eddy.
Fish, your eyes are going to start hurting.
Roland, who's got the better of this one?
Big blind out.
I think this is 10 points each in this round.
That's definitely going to make the cut.
It's just so entertaining.
With a straight check and pushing his chips in with his head and trying to talk at the same time.
Call.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Raise to 7.
Hellmuth wishes that now that he had been a little more steamed up at the end of that one, doesn't he?
I think he wishes really that David Elliott or someone will find a hand to do something with.
Oh, God.
Tony Guagua is in.
Got a bad feeling about it.
Pass.
Wow.
Pass.
You know, that's a couple times,
I know he's got a hand too.
Roland, we've seen Tony G make some great folds before the flop. That was class, wasn't it?
I don't know if he picked out something from Hellmuth, but that's a side of Tony G that we've seen a couple of times, and it gets overlooked in the bluster of his game, but he can fold for small amounts pre-flop, and that was an excellent fold with ace
I
queen
might
there.
get lucky and get a flop. Then I'm going to get a lot of money if you have got an overpair.
It's only 6,000 on the fish.
And I guess we can afford the money, but I don't like it.
Jeez, you get the feeling Hellmuth's cards are face up.
Might have put my money
Frazer's
in,
gonna feel.
going to kick it up a notch.
2 aces left in the deck. He wants to hit one or the hearts. An 8 high flop could bring trouble.
Close.
Check. Check.
Check it.
Was that a dangerous check by Phil, or is that...
I think it was an excellent trap by Phil. He's
8.
he's lulled someone with a smaller pair into a full sense of security.
Phil Hellmuth. He was the youngest ever world champion. He has a record number of bracelets. He has to be the first Premier League champion.
I've been very blessed by the universe, and I'm always going to have a ton of money. So then it's about winning the championships. It's about winning the titles. It's about leaving a legacy. Who cares when you die if you have 100 million or 10 million or $1 billion? No one really cares. It's more money to leave to your children, which can be argued as a good or a bad thing, but they know 24 world championships, 7 World Poker Tour titles, 3 premierships, I hope. You add all that together and people say, this is the greatest poker player in history, and that's what I want to be. I had a bad feeling this time. If you call me to bluff me, I invite you.
Raise to 6. Pass. Pass.
I invite you.
This is the first time Black has raised, and why is Hellmuth calling? Black has such a tight image.
Hellmuth fancies himself as a better flop player, and with a hand such as 7-8 suited, if he hits big, he could get a lot of chips. If Andy Black has an overpair, and Eddy Scharf wants in too, again with Queen 10. Not a player I particularly like.
Check.
Hellmuth checking in the dark again. Scharf will wait to see the flop.
Check.
Hellmuth takes the lead on the flop,
50.
but Andy Black is duty bound to fire as the pre-flop raiser.
Call.
Did he bet 15,000? That's pretty sturdy right now, isn't it?
Andy Black's been making these big bets. He tried to bluff Eddy Scharf 2 weeks ago in one of the very early pots with 2 big bets, and it didn't work, and it hasn't been a tactic that succeeded.
Checked.
Will he fire the second bullet?
Check.
Thinking twice, perhaps. Oh boy. That's sort of like...
4.
4 into 48. I mean, that's a very defensive bet. And Andy Black
Raise to
picked
14.
up on that and raised. He's value betting his top pair, and now Hellmuth has a real decision, Jesse.
Has Hellmuth made any mistakes in this hand? Or has he just gotten a bit unlucky?
It's easy to say when you can see the cards, but betting out the turn would have taken the pot down and defined his hand a lot better. If Andy had raised him after the turn card that came before, then he would have known where he was.
You see that, Roland?
The cleaning woman over there knew he had 2 aces.
That's sick. You can't catch the 8-8 or something like that. He has to hit the ace, huh?
King 8.
About $15,000 out there with ace-8 offsuit against me. It's so sick. I mean, how bad do these people play? What, they saw Devilfish yesterday? They think they're going to run me over? Really?
Actually,
Think I won 10 bracelets?
When you check the turn and then bet that again.
You think I won 10 bracelets because you can bluff me?
What a joke.
Well, it's only been one level, but the leaderboard no joke for Phil Hellmuth. Half his stack gone at the expense of Andy Black and the Devilfish, who have pulled up to top boots.
Look at that haircut, Jesse. That's a fantastic work of art for doing it yourself. He doesn't even look in the mirror.
Blind space to four.
I saw a comment written about Tony G the other day that he looks like an oversized 10-year-old. Behaves like one as well. And here's Phil Hellmuth. Who, not like that at all, he behaves like a 12-year-old.
He's a little more mature.
Well, he's a teenage brat.
Hellmuth's got 48,000, and he's gone for the limp-in. Is this a factor of his stack size?
I think it is, definitely. But also he knows that
Pass.
he doesn't want to face a re-raise, and he wants to see a flop, because without
Pass.
without a third 5, the pair is not going to win a big pot.
Yeah.
Call.
Yep.
Well,
Alright.
someone was saying a couple weeks ago that limping in with the pair in this spot is not a bad idea because you can call a raise, but you can't call a re-raise.
I think that's spot on, Jesse. Ian Frazer is surprised. I'm surprised to see Ian Frazer was here. I thought we were playing with 5.
Check.
but
Yeah.
Check.
Ian Frazer was just an out-of-camera shot at the edge. He's not moving. He's
15,000.
There's a big bet from Hellmuth. Both players have draws. Elliott on the flush draw. Oh, wow. And he's re-raised enough to set Hellmuth in.
Pass.
Is Hellmuth going to speak to the camera?
The wheels are off. Mr. Poker's downhill. No downhill skiing, except without the skis. He's on his bum. and the ride's rough. Oh, it's bumpy. He's getting hurt.
Is that not tobogganing?
It's close to that.
There's a few.
Except it's
Is it like the luge?
That's
It's the
bare-
luge.
no,
You know
no,
the
no.
luge?
That's Mr. Poker bareback. It's completely bareback. He feels it.
few
He
rocks-
feels it. Every bump, he feels it.
A few rocks
Oh.
sticking out, eh?
A lot of stitches at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, good stitch up job. It's rear end plastic surgery in Hollywood.
Is that?
Fixes you up.
Makes
Makes the rear end look like a face.
I thought you might know about the rear end plastic surgery.
Do you get the feeling that Tony G wouldn't pull the legs off an ant unless one of them was already trapped under a rock? Everybody loving getting into this rivalry between Hellmuth and the Fish.
I compare it with a sand pit full of children, and everybody's building their cats, and we have 2 players, Phil Hellmuth and Devilfish, who aren't building their castle, they're just telling each other who has the bigger shovel.
I can sense that there's a little revenge between them two, and you know, personally, if I was Devilfish, I'd try to stay away from Phil, because Phil's got his number, and Phil's running really hot.
They both want to be top dog, and you know, it's Devilfish's home country, and he maybe feels a bit threatened by Phil, and Phil is always trying to say, you know, how great he is, and neither of them like losing. So, you know, it's natural, but it's great fun and it's great for the game.
There's more ego in the green room than there is water in the Hoover Dam, but it makes it for a very fun and entertaining time. And when we get out on the felt, it's war.
Pass.
Frazer on the button. It looks like these guys are allowing the short stacks to get involved.
Raise all in.
So this is
You like that move, huh?
It's a good one. Solid.
I don't want to be playing flops, do I?
Uh-oh.
Chips out that one.
The funny thing is that Devilfish has berated Phil Hellmuth, been berated by Phil Hellmuth the whole way through this heat for calling off with ace-queen in his last monies, and this is exactly the spot he's faced with now. He really doesn't want to be behind here, but he's faced with really no option here, Jesse. He doesn't want to be calling off his last chips.
Ian?
Let's count it. I mean, he asked for it. Let's count it, just in case you got him covered.
Devil, you would have. Devilfish with this hand, you would have called a long time ago.
Of course, that play so bad it's scary. I know, you're right.
I didn't say that.
Well, why do you say I would call this so?
62.
Because I have a hand that no one in the world would fold here.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm trying to figure out some genius way to get away from it, but I just don't think I can.
Is this sort of just in case he is beat?
It's just in case he is beat. He wants to say,
something.
look at the situation I found myself in.
I'm all in.
All in.
I might have him.
That's an easy one.
Guess we're gonna find out.
227.
Guess we're gonna find out.
I don't think it's that strong.
I got ace queen.
Hellmuth all in, but Frazer is trailing here, and this is a big pot for both players. It's half of Frazer's chips and all of Hellmuth's.
Wait a minute. Let me get some insurance.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want to have?
5,000 to. I'll pay. Hold on, don't deal yet. 10% juice.
Yeah.
You 10% juice off the win, off the winning side, so that's off the big side for you.
You're gonna have 4,000.
10%. I'll bet 5,000.
You're gonna have 4,000. 4,000.
Okay, deal. 4,000. You got to bet. At least I'll make 10,000 if he sucks out.
These guys are too funny. Hellmuth always likes to bet against himself.
So you're gonna owe me
and
around 10,000.
Frazer's hit the 3.
Yeah.
Hellmuth's gonna be walking.
2 bagels in a row is what Hellmuth's faced with.
I'll just pay you 10, maybe. I don't know, whatever it is. It's about right. 11 to 4, 5 to 2 with the juice.
Only 3 queens in the
I
deck.
knew I'd lose the bet. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I wanted to bet more.
Tony G's almost as upset
I
as
haven't won with
Hellmuth.
ace king or ace queen all day
I
long.
only do it for you as a service. So
That is
I'm kind of hoping for a queen now. I don't know. It's a 14,000 swing.
Tony G doesn't know what he's rooting for.
You got 5 to 2, right? Whatever it is. You got 10,000.
These guys will bet on anything.
Oh! What a surprise!
Wow!
What a surprise!
I owe you 4,000 more. I'm happy to pay.
You know what, Phil? You ever get outdrawn with the best hand? Unbelievable.
No, it's
I haven't
normal.
won with ace king or ace queen.
That was the witch.
Hellmuth was about to be knocked. He was about to, as you say, go double bagel.
Yeah, baby. Now that might turn things around a little bit.
That was unbelievable.
Ian Frazer.
Wow.
He's been stuck in neutral a long
I could have
time.
insured the other direction.
You're happy, right?
For a
He
guy-
revved
but
up
for a
the
guy who-
accelerator,
for a
but
guy
his
who
car
just
was
beats
in
everybody
reverse.
else with the West Hand, it's
That
just-
hurt.
He's just had a car
Yeah, I've
crash.
been really
Down to
lucky.
41,000, Jesse.
I'm on about when it's all in situation.
I've
cards
been
on the
really
back.
lucky today, and I was
I'm
really
about-
lucky in the
I'm
last
about-
one too.
He's sitting up now. That was really sick, Jesse. The 3 comes out, and has happened a lot in his Premier League. The river saving the best hand.
I couldn't be a great player and have the best hand most of the time, I guess.
Well, maybe you had the best hand most of the time, and I had the worst hand and won with
What
it
did you
anyway.
say?
Maybe I just outplayed you, bro.
Huh? You did outplay me the last one. I was also lucky. I mean, you kept calling with 6-9 when I had ace queen suited. You got the right flops to make moves.
We're playing poker, right?
Helmuth wears
You think
his
I was
heart
gonna
on
do
his
that move with the
sleeve,
ace king,
Roland. He was very quiet when he
I
was
was
low.
checking
Now he's got
everything.
enough
Didn't
chips
matter if I flopped a nut flush,
to
if I
start
flopped a
playing
queen, if I
again.
flopped
Listen
an
to
ace.
him chatter.
Look, he's got a
I was
slight
always
Tommy
gonna bet
Cooper look about him with
That's the
that
first
hand.
time in an on-the-back situation
Just
ace
like
queen
that,
has
he's
managed
back
to
in the
win.
game.
And of course
I
was.
can't hear you, Fish. How big a favorite was I when the money went in?
You're missing the point. You win with the West Hand heads up, and when
I
they're on
what?
the back. When you got 9s and I got aces, and you got 5, 7, and I got
Huh?
ace 8. That's when you win. You
What
win
did he
them
say?
as well.
Tony.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Tony?
I understand you had the best hand.
I understand that
That's what I
too.
thought.
Phil once bet that ace king not suited was better than ace king suited. He had a big bet on that. Can you believe that?
It was
Really?
a small
I
bet.
can.
Well, he had a bet though.
Ace
Did you?
king unsuited is better than ace king
Well,
suited.
because you have 2 flush draws.
Phil had the bet.
Right, you do.
No, you guys don't understand. I knew my whole life ace king suited was better, but some guy swore he'd run a simulation. I think I might have been set up. He swore he'd run a simulation that ace king offsuit was better, so I bought into it, and then about 2 weeks later somebody bet me. But I only lost 1,000.
That's pretty sick.
I think they set me up.
You're a nice guy to be around with.
The guy
you're
swore.
good value. If I was still sort of, you know, trying to battle, make 10 grand a day, I'd be around Phil. I think I could do okay.
Well, welcome back to the partypoker.net Premier League Poker. Are the other players, speaking of Frazer, Scharf, and Tony G maybe, are they guilty of just kind of hanging around and hoping they score some points before they make their move?
I think they wanted to get into the latter stages of this and hope a couple of players went out early, but it hasn't happened like that. And now it's them who are forced to make the all-in move. And here we see Ian Frazer having to do that with 5 high.
I haven't looked yet.
Hellmuth on the big blind. His calling standards will not be that high. Any ace, any king even. But it is half his stack, so he has to be careful.
An ace. I call.
He's got an ace and he calls.
That's good stuff from Frazer, but he's going to go out like a lion, not like a lamb. But it's now his turn to try and get lucky on Hellmuth.
Frazer from penthouse to outhouse, winning last time. Now he's standing right at the door.
Hold on a sec. Don't
hang
do
on,
it
hang on.
Oh, we can't have this bullshit.
Hang on, yeah.
4,000 I'll bet.
Okay.
10% juice. 5,000 this time.
Okay, you can have 10 if you want.
5,000's good.
This isn't part of the game. Come on, let's go.
You're betting on the 4-5.
Right, let's go.
Phil, you're betting on the 4-5.
Yes, yeah.
Good bet at the moment.
Hold on. Too good. You're too good.
Frazer's gone to the lead, and this will be a big double up. This will actually hurt Hellmuth now.
It's half his stack, Jesse.
5,000, you win like 7.
There it is.
But there's the jack on the tie.
No, 5, only 5. You want
It's
insurance?
the second time that Frazer has gone worst to first to worst again.
5.
Well done, guys. Good going.
Right,
See you later.
Ian with the 0 points.
All right, now you owe me 9,000.
He played fantastically last week, and this week it just hasn't been the same performance from Ian. He's not been at the races today, and I think 6th place is the best he deserved.
And Phil Hellmuth, with that win, up now to 101,000. This is the first time, Roland, he's had more than he started with. What a road back.
You need the cards and you need a bit of luck. Devilfish is the only one I've seen so far that makes the most of bad cards. I mean, he seems to be able to accumulate chips with getting crap all the time. I haven't seen any of the other players do that yet.
Yeah, I should have shut up, maybe.
Tony G is getting low, Jesse. 57,000.
When I first talked, I knew you read me.
It's a hard spot for him, Roland, because if he gets 1 point here,
just to see your
he's nearly relinquished his chances on this Premier League. He's going to have to win his last 2.
I'll tell you right now.
This is his 4th go.
You know, he hasn't got his bike moving, and he's going to be getting it moving out the door if things don't.
It's trouble.
2 black nines. You know what they call that in Las Vegas, Jesse?
It's definitely Hellmuth's signature hand. I think it's the hand he won the World Series with.
It is. And Tony G.
Oh yeah, we've got a reaction there. The old ostrich jumped up in the air. Whoops.
Well, this is a huge chance for Tony G to get back in. It's also a chance for him to go out. It's a race here, Roland.
Tony G, at this point, is very fortunate to find himself with the perfect hand to be up against 2 9s.
He could be much worse, couldn't he?
He could be up against Ace 10 or Ace King, and he'd be in a horrible shape. This is a massive hand in Tony G's Premier League. Phil Hellmuth can afford to lose this. Tony G really cannot. 5 points after 4 rounds.
7's good.
It's relegation form. He needs to hit. The flop's the best chance. But he's missed.
Oh no. This could be the end of the Premier League for Tony G. Or he's going to back himself in a corner where he has to win the last 2.
Wait. I bet 3 more thousand right now. 10% juice. I know you got to take it. You got to take the 10% juice.
You want to bet 3 more thousand right now?
On your hand, yeah.
You want to bet 2 more?
2 more, you got it.
Tony G is just trying to figure out what he's rooting for now, Roland. What he cares about the Premier League, not the side bet. He just can't back away from a good business deal.
That would make it a more entertaining hand.
Queen on the turn. Tony G's taxi is revving up.
Yeah.
Unless it's a king or 10, he'll be out the door and on his bike. Back to Australia. Not yet. Gone.
Oh, that was close.
Absolutely no chance. Well done. At least I won 9. See you guys.
See you later, bro. You see what odds they got to beating you, Phil, when they don't catch the flop?
How much I owe you, Tony?
Mine, 18,000.
No.
You bet 2,000.
He has
more.
had
18,000.
You owe me 18,000.
That was the big
Yeah.
blind there.
He has had no
I think that's
love,
right.
Roland,
Figure it out in the green room.
from the Premier League.
18,000.
It's not gone well for Tony G. He's played
Oh,
poorly,
because I delay
but he
some,
hasn't had
I
any
delay
luck
some on
into
the
the
first bet,
bargain,
right?
and you got to feel for the big man.
Looking at the chip pie now, what a comeback for Hellmuth. I mean, how and why?
Hellmuth, he has got a big slice of that pie by knocking out the biggest pie eater of them all, Tony G.
I feel devastated. You know, I've been crushed again, and I'm basically out of the competition. So it's a tough feeling.
Just think the difference between fourth and third right now, not nearly so big as going from third to second. Is there an argument here for Scharf and Black to press it a little bit and try and get in a race?
It is, I think, the time for Scharf and Black to really push forward. I don't think the extra point that they get makes that much difference. They really want to get in the top two where the big scores are, and they're just sitting back and waiting for hands and hands. And if they don't come, they're going to be in trouble. And I think Eddy Scharf is perhaps even more in danger than Andy Black of that.
I mean, in a sense, if you're Scharf right now, you should just try and get the second raise in and get all the chips in, right?
I got you on a big hand, though, Fish. I'm afraid this time. Oh, you got nothing again, okay.
Well, you're probably going to be right one of them, either nothing or big end.
Phil's made an interesting call on the small blind here. Rather than the re-raise.
I guess
I wanted to be heads up.
Phil checks.
I didn't really want two-way potty. I maybe should have raised a bit more.
And Scharf has peeled off a flop. Oh, boy.
Checked. Check.
Huge hand for Phil Hellmuth.
15.
It's interesting to see how he plays this one, Jesse, because a raise here will get Fish away. It looks like the only thing he can do now is to call, but that will set the alarm bells ringing off in the Devilfish's head.
Little Oscar, first of all, perhaps.
I'm all in.
All in.
You caught the flop again, eh, baby? You're in, baby.
And the massive overraise perhaps looking weak if the Fish has some kind of pair.
No, I don't like the play at all from Hellmuth, because if you think about it, Devilfish is savvy enough to know that he's not going to call off his chips, even with kings there.
Oh, yeah.
Give a card back, bro. That's what we've got to try and find.
But
Scramble him.
Hey, Marty, how many hands?
Marty, excuse me. Can we get some new cards, please? Is that possible? A couple of new decks.
if you are going to allow them to do that, then that means we can all ask for new decks whenever we want
What's the
them,
matter,
Marty?
fella? Are you frightened to death that we can't?
No, I'm asking. I mean, if you're going to do it, then what's right is right. If you can ask for decks when things are going bad for you, I can ask for decks when things are going bad for me. Andy can ask for decks. Scharf can ask for decks. We can all ask for decks.
Why don't you just act your age? Why don't you act your age? I'm entitled to ask for a new deck again.
I don't think you are entitled.
Did Hellmuth see his aces rolling before he caused the ruckus?
Or it's 12.
It's very possible. He's just praying now that someone finds a hand behind him.
Oh boy, well, he's got that wish. Scharf can hardly fold these given the situation, can he?
Eddy Scharf with the walking sticks.
Re-raise all in.
This is like a setup.
Pass.
Look at this.
I thought so. Poor Eddy Scharf. There was no escape there, was it?
There's nothing you can do at that stage. A pair of sevens against a consistent raiser like Hellmuth.
Scharf has to get lucky here.
That's the term, right? A walking stick.
And he'll be walking with them.
And he never ever gets outgrown with him.
2 sevens, and Hellmuth is going to go massive chip leader.
And he's flopped a full house.
He flopped a, what's he flop? A full house. He's flopped a full house aces.
Are you sure you want to change decks?
Yeah, you're just a card rack, right?
Sorry, Eddie.
Thank you. Pretty sad stuff to watch. I like to see a bit of skill in it.
And
Eddy Scharf gone.
Well, he's got himself 2 points, Roland. I mean, could he have done more? He's not in bad shape on the league table. Looking at Phil Hellmuth's chip history right now, Roland. Can he be stopped?
He looks like the runaway train, and he's only going uphill from here towards the victory. I think it's going to be very hard to stop him, knowing that both the other two players really want to get the 6 points for second place.
I think it's very important to believe in yourself, you know, but not to overrate yourself. You know, I might come out and say, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, based on this. When I'm in the table in the moment, I give everybody credit and respect. Until they put a beat on me, then the poker brat comes out.
It's very interesting now as we enter this sort of bubble position as the points go. I mean, Hellmuth is going to be first no matter what happens on the table. But Andy Black, a chance to pick up 6 points, and the Devilfish could actually leapfrog Andy Black and get into the top 5 if he gets first and Black gets third.
It's so much to play for now with the way the points are. I think it's just interesting whether the Devilfish is going to hang on for the top 2 or if his ego is going to force him to go for first, because 8 and 6 points for the first 2 players, whereas only 3 for third, and Devilfish needs those points. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly how the Devilfish plays, and will his ego mean that he has to take on Hellmuth?
Well, limping in with the 10s, that's a bit of a gamble play, isn't it? And the Devilfish, he's played for a big pot, he's got one, he cannot beat a queen. Can he suss out that Hellmuth doesn't have one?
I think the Devilfish is probably going to call this and see what Hellmuth does on the turn.
Cool.
I mean, if Hellmuth makes a big bet on the turn, how can Devilfish call, risking 3 points?
A 4 giving Hellmuth an open-ender. Now this is very interesting.
Surely Hellmuth's moving all in. He's got to put the pressure on the fish, doesn't he?
There's 90,000 in the pot. Check. But he takes the free card.
A lot of ways to win for Hellmuth. He's hit one! And the fish, could the fish go broke here?
I don't think he's going to go broke, but I think that he's going to do a lot of chips. I don't see how Devilfish can get away from this.
34,000.
You probably got a free. Wow.
God, he's on fire tonight, the fish.
He's so lucky he's probably got a free.
Call.
I have to call, says the Devilfish.
Yeah, the luckiest bastard I've ever known. Swear to God. He's so far behind, it's scary. So far behind, it's scary. He hit the case free on me? Wow. You might be impossible to beat, Phil. You're too lucky. You're definitely too lucky. I got you in there with that piece of shite, and you got out of it again. Yeah? I trapped you with that.
Self-defeating talk as well for Devilfish. He doesn't... I mean, it's incredible the luck that Hellmuth shows, but Devilfish, as a professional, should be able to deal with it and not continually... continually berate the dealer, berate the luck. The dealer just sends the message from the cards. Having said all that, unbelievable luck from Hellmuth. Aces from 19,000, aces, kings, ace, king, and the guy moving in, he's got ace, jack, and now he hits the trips. Phil Hellmuth's luck today has been unbelievable. Let's not think this is down to skill, because it really is unbelievable luck.
But the real story now, though, if Andy Black, the Devilfish should be aware of Andy Black. They have nearly the same chips, and not be thinking about...
80 more.
Not be thinking about it. What if Hellmuth just moves in? How can the fish call?
I can see this.
He needs a huge hand.
Never mind.
Pass.
And
a call.
Odd stuff. Black must have a huge hand, Roland. Doesn't he figure to?
Yeah. Well, I got over a chance this time.
Queen 10 for Andy Black.
This time, Phil.
Ice queen.
Andy Black's blown up. Devilfish is forced to call. It's not a good move by Andy Black, and he knows it. He knows it's a blow up, but still. What will the fish's reaction be if Andy Black wins this, Jesse?
There's the 10!
Look at this, it's like disgusting luck.
Now he's down to an ace.
He needs an ace from space. The diamond, no help.
3 cards in the deck. This is stunning.
Disaster for Devilfish. Andy Black doubles through the Devilfish. The Devilfish is stunned. And Andy Black launches into second.
Diabolical joke.
The Devilfish will still have chips left, Roland, but it really seems like he made a big mistake there, didn't he?
How much?
68.
Did he think the Devilfish was steaming?
Andy Black made a terrible move at the best time to do it. He got lucky, he's doubled up, and Devilfish is on the floor.
If I raise with ace queen again, I'll shoot myself. Seeing that, Phil, when you got ace queen, bro, you win it no problem. Against queen 10, me too, not even 2 random cards, huh? If you had my luck, buddy, you'd never win a bracelet.
Hellmuth not giving any response, but the Devilfish has had enough. He's all in the dark, he says.
He wants to get out of here.
I don't care, whatever. I'm all in. If not, if you
Look
just
at
call,
the
I'm
Devilfish's chip history. He had been so steady, and the last 2 pots roll, and have they taken his heart away?
Devilfish has had the wind knocked out of his sails. He's had the fish tank drained of water. He's gasping for air. He's swimming upside down.
He's announced all in the dark from the big blind.
He's...
What do you need to go after him here?
Queen high is good here. Queen high, a random hand. Even a jack if you got as much chips as...
Christ.
As much chips as
You know, Phil, do you fly home or do you just walk across the water? Look around here, you just found 3 points here in the muck.
Calling for 37.
Well, what do you want me to do? Oh, I've got a chance again, that whatever I've got.
In the dark. Ace 4 for Hellmuth.
40%.
What does the fish have in the blind?
No, he's like queen 4, but no queen 9.
He's not expecting to win it.
79,000 pot, and he'd be right back in it.
Except for I'm against Phil. Oh, look at that. Look what he flopped. He flopped the ace straight away. No fucking danger. Cheers, guys. Good luck. It's a fucking joke.
It does seem a bit unfortunate, Roland. I mean, the Devilfish has played well tonight.
He's played an almost perfect game. He got his money in ahead every time. He won every pot, and the luck just wasn't with him.
What does he need, running 7-8?
We better get Kathy out of there dealing as well. She's fucking wasting the other one.
There are 2 cards
Oh, you ever
to
seen
come
her like it,
still,
man?
Roland.
She's giving that fucking free. Trap the bollocks off him. Give him that.
They're going to have to deal the turn in the river. And he's actually drawing live here.
You've hit an out.
You got it out, Fishy.
I think that's an unprintable response. This Premier League has thrown up some strange stuff, and the Devilfish just feeling like the cross is on his shoulders to bear. He's suffering for the sins of other poker players past.
Just put up a blank.
10-1, I'll take. Oh wait, no, it's a little more than that.
An entertaining exit from the Devilfish, but not what he wanted.
I think I almost
Fishy played great poker.
I knew he was going to say that.
Small, big, so...
He played great poker one more time. Great poker. Ace queen. He can't beat queen 10. Or we're in the top 2.
Are we playing on or what, Marty?
This is fantastic stuff. I mean, this stuff.
But we got it.
This
They're going to
stuff
take a minute,
it's
then we
poker
shake
gold.
hands
It really
now.
is.
I've been playing poker all these years, and I've played lots of these one-table format situations. I've never seen anybody catch the deck like Phil does. You know? I'm not taking away his poker ability or anything. I'm just saying he is catching the deck. It's scary. And I'm on the opposite end of the scale. My luck is diabolical. That's why I'm on 8 points and he's on 30. You know?
These 2 have been head up before, Roland. In the very first match, it was Hellmuth and Black. Similar situation. Hellmuth beat Black
Look at the Irish.
quickly.
Continue.
But what's in it right now?
Well, Hellmuth 3-1 in chips has got to be feeling very confident. He's come back from nothing. Andy Black, by his own admission, will say he's not played well today. He's made mistakes. He really hasn't played well, and he's got there through the luck of the cards. Hellmuth also has been supremely lucky, but just seems to be riding the crest of a wave. You know, there's always the cards at the right time. You get in that feeling, you get in the zone, sportsman who can do no wrong. You know, these 2, Phil Hellmuth just looks so blessed in these events, along with Andy Black. I mean, they both had amazing strokes of fortune, and you see Tony G and Dave Elliott, the Devilfish, just had no luck throughout the tournament. It shows that the line, you know, there's so many great players here, and it is often just who performs better on the day that comes through. But Hellmuth on for 4 out of 5, and that is impressive in anyone's book.
How much?
Black's moved all in here. It's a total of about 100,000.
76? Or a little bit more this time.
And Hellmuth's got the better hand.
I call.
Calling call.
Boy, he's smart. He got it right this time, did Phil Hellmuth. And sometimes the difference is just these kind of hands. It's just knowing, making the call and being right.
It's an excellent call from Hellmuth, who isn't the quickest to call with his money. It's a great call, and the way he's been running today, can you really see Andy Black doing it?
Perhaps.
Something for everyone.
Perhaps. Anything but a 10 or king. Black on the verge of the double up. A queen would seal it. And that's changing nothing.
Turn a king and end this thing.
Keep it low.
There it is.
Wow.
There's something about that, Roland.
Did I lose a coin flip?
That was.
Yeah, I know I played really brilliantly. Green room. I played really brilliantly. I picked up aces 6 times. I flopped 3 aces, sets, full houses. I know I played really brilliantly.
If you say you're the greatest and you are the greatest, does that mean you have an ego? Hellmuth.
But you know what? I gave myself
32
a chance.
points out of 5 tries.
I don't know whether he made many bluffs. My feeling is he probably didn't make that many bluffs. He actually, the deck hit him in the face. But he held it together well. You know, he held on to his chips. He was getting a lot of stick from all of us. And he came back from the dead like Lazarus.
I was very lucky because they called a break at an unusual time, and I was short on chips, and I was walking around talking to myself, muttering under my breath, talking about how unlucky I was that Andy hit that ace on me. Mutter, 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 talk, talk, talk. I got it out of my system, you know, and now I'm like, okay, you could still win this thing, Phil. I wasn't even thinking of win, but you could still get 2 or 3 points out of this thing. Just hang in there and don't cave in. Never give up. And I didn't.
7 games, top of the leaderboard. Hellmuth, the big win. He's really pulling away with 32 points. The others, of course, have a game in hand, and Helpy has 2. Top 4, of course, going straight to that final table in the playoff zone. It's Vicky Corin with 14, and everybody else tight at the bottom. Frazer gaining no ground this evening. Bottom 4, straight relegation, and Tony G a bit frustrated with himself. He has got to move. The others at the bottom, a game in hand. Likelihood of G falling even further. Hellmuth's in heaven at the top of the table. Down below, the devil awaits. He wants to climb and clatter his way back up the table. The final table where revenge could be sweeter than pistachio pie. Join us next time to find out.
Why don't you fuck off with that camera?